When you ask, I deliver. And this is something that so many of you have asked me for. You've said to me over and over again, Rach, I want to be able to sell without selling. I want to sell my offer. I want to sell my one-to-one, my group, my courses, my passive income products. I want to be able to sell, but I don't want to sound like I'm selling. Well, a few years ago, I'd have said to you, well, if you show up selling without selling, then you're probably not selling and therefore nobody's going to buy. But that is not the case right now because the style of messaging, the style of copy that I've been using across my socials, in my emails, across all of my videos is exactly that. It's selling without selling. When I show up and do a post, and I don't even mention the offer, I will generate more inbound inquiries than when I actually mention the offer. And I know that this is going to be music to your ears. So, what I've done is I've drafted out the anti selling strategy onto a Google Doc, and I'm going to share with you two different styles of posts. One is a direct selling post, the other is the anti-selling style of post. Okay. You're going to be easily able to spot the difference, and I'm going to give you some steps that you can follow so that you can go and use the anti-selling strategy for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, we're going to dive it in, and then it's over to you to implement this. And of course, I'm here for all of your questions. Okay. So anti-selling messaging, let's get into it. This style of sales post, like I said, is working really well for me. It's also working really well for my clients. I've shared it with the ladies in a few of my programs and they love it. And what we're seeing is that we get more inbound inquiries when we don't mention the offer. So when it is not a direct sales post, the post is more effective. Okay. So this is why you're going to want to try this too. Here are the steps. You must be laser clear on the transformation your offer creates. If you're not laser clear on the transformation, the result, the tangible outcome, the solution, the thing that your ideal client will have once they've accessed your work, if you're not clear on that, it's going to be very difficult for you to use this style of selling, okay? Because what we're selling is the result. We're not selling the offer, the container, the course, the retainer, the program. We're not selling that. We're selling the result, okay? So you've got to be laser clear on the transformation. This is what your audience really, really wants. Yeah, people don't buy offers, they buy what the offer does for them. Okay. Your offer is merely how they will access the transformation. And I've just popped the example here. When you hop in an Uber, you're buying the journey, not the car. Okay. Now, I always think that that demonstrates the point so clearly. Yeah, because that's the case. When you get in an Uber, you don't expect to own the car forever, do you? You know that that car is just getting you to the destination. You're in the car for the time it takes to get you to the destination. And that is what your offer is doing. No matter what you sell, whether you're a coach, a service provider, whether you're doing done for you, whether you're mentoring, running group programs, masterminds, selling courses, it doesn't matter. Your offer is the way that your ideal client will access the solution. Yeah, so they're not buying the offer, they're buying the result. Okay. Step two here, you need to create content that uses the transformation in the hook. So, because we're selling the result, the very first line of the post, the hook, has to include the transformation. So, for example, client case study, how we transformed X into Y without sacrificing Z. Yeah, so you would obviously put your words into that using, whatever it is that you do as your role or, with your program, your offer. Think about how you would develop that hook. And of course, once you've got an example of what that hook could sound like, you can use ChatGPT to go off and say, can you craft me 10 other hooks similar to this one? And then you've got some interchangeable hooks that you can use, okay? Then we've got the third step here. In your content and your caption, talk only about the transformation. Yeah. Talk around it without mentioning your offer by name or even by type. So if your offer is a mastermind, don't even call it a mastermind. Don't call it by its name. Don't refer to it in any way. Talk around it. Yeah. Talk about it from the perspective of the results, but don't actually attempt to sell the offer. Okay. So here's an example of what that could sound like, right? So I'm at this bit here, look. My clients are celebrating 40K weeks, and you can too. It's way easier than you think. I give them a clear step-by-step process to follow. They celebrate hard when they hit their income goals. And now I want to give it to you too. DM me the word ready if you want to celebrate 40K weeks too. Nowhere in that example does it talk about what the offer is called or even what the offer is. Okay? Because when you talk about what the offer is, you're reminding your ideal client, you're reminding your audience there is an investment with this. This is going to require you to be ready to invest cash, time, energy. And sometimes people aren't fully ready to do that, but they know that they want the result. So this strategy is all about generating conversations for you. Yeah, your post, the purpose of your post is to generate conversations, to generate DM inquiries, rather than to repel the people who don't feel ready, who don't feel activated enough to make an investment. Okay, so we're talking about the transformation, we're talking around the transformation, we're not mentioning the offer. Okay, then we're down here at this part here. Focus only on generating inbound DM conversations. Do not pitch, do not push, do not persuade. Using this method means that you really don't have to. That is the beauty of it, okay? Anti-selling messaging. This will change the game for you. And then the final point here, always use a simple and activating call to action, like the one that I used above. So here, yeah, we've got DM me the word ready if you want to celebrate 40K weeks too. And that would be a great example of a call to action. Okay. So these are the steps. Now I want to actually show it to you because I know that when you're taking on new strategies like this, especially strategies around copy and messaging, because it's so subjective and we all write in different styles and different ways, I think it's really going to help you if I show you two side-by-side examples, okay? So I've created another tab here called Seeing It in Action, yeah? And so I've got links to these two different styles of posts. So I'm going to just move my face out of the way. Here is the first style of post. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it go back to, actually, let's go full screen. There we go. That's better. You can see it nice and big. So this is an example of a direct sales carousel. Okay, this has been posted on my Instagram and I did make sales from it. You can copy this, you can literally take this format and rinse and repeat that. Just because anti-selling messaging is working well doesn't mean that you shouldn't do a direct sales post. Okay, so I am not telling you to never post a direct sales post. Sometimes the people in your audience need to see it directly, okay? Sometimes they do need to literally be punched in the face with your offer, okay? And this would be an example of that. So you can see we've got up here it says ready to sign more clients online, and then we've got the hook, creating consistent 10K months is not luck. And it isn't just strategy either, it's this. Then we've got the arrow to make sure that people know you've got to click. Then we say, it's the result of you following the 7 steps of my proven online sales queen growth system, and it's way easier than you think. Let me show you. Yeah, so we've got the dots here so that we're trying to keep the audience scrolling. Because in a direct sales post, you would still lead with value. Okay, so the value here is I'm using a juicy hook to make people say, okay, well, what is it that gets me to 10K months then? And then I'm saying it's my 7 step online sales queen system. That's what's going to get you to 10K months. And it's easier than you think. Let me show you. And then I give the value. This is the value. This is the juicy stuff. This is what people really want to know. If I was to work with Rach, if Rach was to help me hit a 10K month, how would she do that? She says she's got this proven system, but what is the system? Well, here it is. I literally give it away in my content. Now, of course, this is not enough for somebody to be able to go and implement this. Just saying, oh, we're going to create you an aligned offer doesn't tell them what the offer should be that they create, whether it is a course, whether it is a group offer, whether it's a one-to-one, whether it's a retainer. Like, doesn't tell them what the offers should be, doesn't tell them how to price it, doesn't tell them how to message it. So giving away your framework in this sort of a format gives the perception of value, but actually it doesn't give enough value that somebody wouldn't need you, that they would be able to just go and implement this by themselves. Okay. So I give the value. That is the third slide in the carousel. Then I do an introduction. Hey, I'm Rach, the OG online sales queen, trusted sales and business coach who's taught over 9,300 people how to sell with ease, not sleaze. I've helped my clients to make over 3.4 million. That always blows my mind. And I've made over 1 million in personal sales too, which also blows my mind. But I am in my ninth year. So, there's when you actually break that down, it doesn't actually sound that good. But it is well over 1 million, but the million sounds better to put on the slide. Anyway, so there's an introduction post inside the carousel. Then we get into the detail, okay? So you may be dancing around the 2 to 3K a month mark right now, but you know that you're ready for more clients and you know that you can make a difference. So I'm connecting with my audience, showing them that I understand where they're at. And then we say, I can show you exactly what needs to shift to unlock the income you deserve. We'll review your offers, pricing, messaging, and content and sales plan so that you'll know how to convert browsers into buyers every single day. So we're starting to talk to not just who my ideal client is, but what she wants instead of the reality that she's got right now. You've come this far without a dedicated sales plan, because I know that my ideal client doesn't have a dedicated sales plan. She wants one, she's always wanted one, but she doesn't have one. So you've come this far without a dedicated sales plan, without dialed in messaging, and without a coach who really gives a shit about your success. So also the ladies that join this program with me, they often have been in somebody else's container where they feel a bit underwhelmed. Yeah, they've got their coaching certification, or they've qualified, they are ready to start their coaching business, they've worked with some clients, they've been in a coaching container that promised to give them the strategy, that promised to give them accelerated results, but they left feeling a little bit underwhelmed. I hear that a lot. So that's what I've kind of put in this post, yeah, who a coach who really gives a shit about your success, because very often they've been in a very big container, and my containers they're not small, but they're small enough for me to know everybody's name, for me to know everybody's business, for me to completely and utterly understand where everybody's blind spots are, what they need next, and how I can help get them there. Yeah. So it's not small, it's not particularly intimate. Sometimes there might be like 8 girls, 10 girls, 15 girls on a call, but actually that is small enough for me to know all of my clients in detail. Okay. So again, that's describing where my ideal client is. And then together, we'll position you as the authority. We'll explode your visibility times 100. We'll craft words that sell. We'll generate daily inquiries. We'll convert your dream client into your strategic offer suite. And we will crush your income goals. This is what I know that my ideal client wants. Okay. So we're talking about where she is. We're talking about what she wants. This is all quite standard for a direct sales post. Then we introduce the offer. How? In the Infinite Abundance Collective. So that is the name of the offer. So do you remember I said earlier, don't mention the name of the offer in the anti-selling messaging? Well, this is a direct post and I'm mentioning the name of the offer directly. Okay. And then this is the strap line for the offer. This is the same strap line that is on the sales page. The Sales and Mindset Accelerator for coaches, therapists, and service providers ready to claim more confidence, clients, and cash in their business. So the reason that this is a direct sales post is that it mentions the offer and it is explicit about inviting the audience, my Instagram audience, my social media audience, to join the offer. Okay, this is what makes it a direct sales post. Then we've got a slide in the carousel that shares some of the client wins from the group so that my audience can just browse, what are the results that the girls are getting. I won't read all this out to you. You'll get access to proven sales, marketing, and mindset strategies that'll support you in building your offer suite, skyrocketing your success, high conversion sales funnels, and developing rock solid habits and mindset. So there's a little bit more context there about what we'll work on in the offer. Here's how we'll get you calling in dream clients and hitting 7 to 10K months. Believe me, this level of support is unrivaled at such a low investment. And then it goes through what the girls get when they come and join. They get sales and strategy and accountability session with me, sales training with me, coaching and Q&A with me, and they get 3 co-coach sessions as well as the learning portal, the community, and a huge bundle of bonuses worth 5,876. Then we have a slide, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed at this because, 9 bonuses is a lot to give away, and this is a very busy slide. But I want you to think about the psychology behind this, right? Having 9 bonuses that goes through in detail, this is what you'll get, and having it look like a lot is actually driving up the value. Yeah, when somebody says you're going to get all of this, even though it's like, whoa, that's a lot, actually, you want them to think that's a lot because this is a bonus bundle that they're getting for free when they join. And it's worth just under £6,000. Yeah, so it's highly valuable. And so I kind of want it to look like a lot. Yeah, so we share the bonuses, then we give price. So this is the other thing that makes this a direct sales post. And our brand new packages now make it a no-brainer to enroll. Enroll for 3 months, 397, 6 months, 12 months, or the pay monthly. So it's laying it out very, very clearly. This is what the package looks like. Yeah, you could come and work with me for 3 months, or you could actually save some money, commit for a year, and come and have me by your side for the entire year. And don't forget, I've just said to them, you're going to get 3 sessions a month with me. So by this point in the post, the ideal client is going 3 sessions a month with Rach, 3 sessions a month with a co-coach over 12 months. That's like 36 sessions a month with Rach. And it's less than £1,000 investment. That really is a no-brainer. Okay. So this offer is completely stacked in the favor of my client. It is a crazy offer. I know it's a crazy offer. So when I do a direct sales post, I do get inquiries. Yeah, I do. Then we've got the call to action post. Are you ready to become an online sales queen? DM me the word collective. Yeah, and I'll voice note you to make sure it's a good fit. So that's a direct sales post, girls, right? And so if you were gonna, which you can, mimic this post, you could go through this step by step, copy exactly what I've done. Obviously, you wouldn't put the exact words, you would make it relevant for your offer, and that would be a direct sales post. And as sales posts go, it would be a really, really good one, yeah? But now I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so now we're going to get into the other style of post, the anti-selling messaging, okay? So I'm going to go to full screen again. Actually, let's go to the beginning. That would help. Here we go. Right, so now we're going to get into the anti-selling messaging post. And this is going to be harder for you to mimic as a rinse and repeat strategy. You're going to need to brainstorm this yourself for your own offer. But let me take you through it. And then, I'm here for all your questions if you've got questions, girls, right? So this is what the top coaches don't want you to know, but I'm happy to share so that you can hit 10K months. So just like in the direct post, we've still got a very juicy hook that makes somebody want to click. Okay. And if you're wondering, that photograph was taken in Marbella in the garden, and I've got my sales queen crown on. Look, my team love this picture. So yeah, we've got our slide 1 with the juicy hook. Then we go to slide 2, which is also quite juicy, right? They want you to continue thinking there's some giant secret that you don't know yet until you buy their stuff. So I'm sowing the seed of doubt that actually, if you're following coaches who are dangling this carrot in front of you, saying, oh, there's this secret strategy, you're not going to be able to be successful until you come and work with me. What I'm doing in this post is like dispelling that and saying, well, actually, I'm just going to share it with you because I'm not here for all that smoke and mirrors. I'm here for just sharing it with you. Yeah. Then we say the truth is there is no secret. And that really is the truth, right? The truth is there is no secret. There's no one magic strategy to take you to 10K every month, but there is this. So again, we're getting people scrolling. My 7-step online sales queen system that's supporting hundreds of women like you to hit 10K months. So just like with the direct post, we're using the system. We're saying 10K months because that's the tangible outcome. And the way that we get there, yeah, our Uber is the online sales queen system. Okay. It will show you your blind spots and highlight what's keeping you at 1 to 3K months so you can finally accelerate. So again, it's empathizing and showing the reader that I understand where she's at. And it's way easier than you think to implement. It strips back the fluff and bullshit and gives it to you straight. Now, that's me using messaging that people have shared with me. Like a lot of clients say to me, I love, Rach, that you care about me, you're nurturing and super supportive, but you also just give it me straight. You're direct, and I love that because it means I don't waste time. So I know that this is messaging that my dream clients have used to describe what it's like to work with me. No fluff, no wasting time, just cut the bullshit and just tell me what do I need to do. Yeah? Then we move to the next slide. You'll remodel your offer, price it to sell, craft messaging that converts in minutes, and develop content that calls in. Yeah? You'll feel way more confident to show up powerfully online, speak with authority, and invite the frickin' sale. All too often, I know my ideal client. She does all the peddling, she does all the hard work, but she then doesn't actually invite the sale. Yeah, because she's worried about being rejected or worried about what people will think. Okay, so that's what we're saying here on this slide. Then we go, no more stressing and guessing, no more hustling and hoping, no more weeks without sales and cash. And I know just as I'm even saying that, as my ideal client is reading that on my Instagram, she's going to exhale and be like, oh, no more stress, no more guessing, no more hoping, no more hustling my way through every day, no more getting to the end of a week without sales and cash. Oh my God, Rach, you are speaking to me. Yeah. I know that when she reads this, she's going to exhale. So think about what would make your ideal client exhale, what would make them feel super supported and like, oh, the thing that I've been wanting is finally here in front of me. Relief, yeah, safety, certainty. Okay. Then we go, you're done playing small. You did not start to only get this far. Now is your time, but only if you claim it. Now, that's me really speaking to the fact that I don't want women in my collective program who aren't action takers. I don't want people making excuses. I want them making money. Yeah, it's what I always say. We make money, not excuses, girls. Save the excuses for someone else because actually we're here to lean in. We're here to do the work. And I know that I attract action taking women anyway. So I'm using language like, you are done playing small. You did not start to only get this far. You didn't start to do a 2K month. You started to get a 10K month. You started because you wanted to build freedom and abundance. That's why it's called the Infinite Abundance Collective, because my ideal client envisages a life for herself where she has more. Yeah, she gets to live with choice and freedom. Yeah, but only when she claims it. Only when she claims it. So this is what we're saying here. Only if you claim it. If you're ready to claim 10K months, message me the word collective and I'll see if you're a fit for my sales group. Okay. So if you remember what I said earlier when we were looking at the Google Doc, you can mention the result. Yeah, you want to speak to the result, but you don't want to sell the offer. You don't want to mention the offer. And so the offer, because I showed you in the direct sales post, is called the Infinite Abundance Collective. So I am playing close to the edge here in the keyword that I want people to message me is collective. And I've referred to it here as a sales group. Okay. Now, I've done that for a reason because I don't want women thinking that they can be at 2K months and reach out to me and that they'll be able to do like a 3 month or 6 month one-to-one program with me because I don't do one-to-one programs at that level. Okay. And so, me saying, see if you're a fit for my sales group is basically repelling anybody that would say to me, because I don't want to waste her time or my time, that would say to me, oh, I only want to work one to one with you. Because I don't want to have to say, sorry, I don't do that. Yeah. So, I'm just putting it out there. This is a sales group. Okay. So, you might want to use a similar strategy if you are in a similar situation. But if you're not, follow the guideline I gave to you earlier, which is don't mention the name of the offer and don't even say what it is. Just sell the result. Okay. So that is the end of the post. Yes, it is. We are correct in saying that, Rachel. Let's go back to the document. Um, okay, so what to do next? Here's what I want you to do, right? So that you can leverage the power of anti-selling messaging so that you can get more DMs, more inquiries, more conversations. Here's what you need to do. Start brainstorming the key problems that your ideal client has and what solutions, outcomes, results they are looking to create or achieve. Okay, so you might be really clear on what that is right now, but now that you've seen me walk through these, you might want to, go and refine that, tweak that, adjust that in some way. Okay, so if you need to brainstorm, brainstorm. If you think you've got it nailed, great. Let's move to the second step. Make sure that your system, framework, or process has a name and that you're clear on the steps. So if you remember in both posts, I mentioned my 7-step online sales queen growth system. It does have its own logo, it has its own graphic. Do you remember that circle with the 10K months in the middle? I've gone to those lengths to give it branding, to give it positioning, to give it value. Yeah, to share it from a place of, this is a well thought through curriculum. This is a system that I teach. This isn't, oh, yeah, let's just see if we can grow your business. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. No, this is a trusted, reliable, repeatable system. So it deserves its own graphic, it deserves its own name, its own logo. Okay. So make sure that your framework is super clear, that you know exactly what the steps are, and bonus points for you if you make a graphic and you make a logo. Okay. Third step, craft a juicy hook to capture attention right from the get-go. Yeah, the minute they see slide one coming down on their feed, you already know you've got about a split second. It's probably not even 1 second, it's about zero point 0.7 of a second, like that, to capture somebody's attention. So that hook, girls, has got to be good. It cannot be weak, it cannot be fluffy, it cannot blend in. It's got to be good, okay? So that's your third step. Fourth step is get clear on what the call to action will be. So are you going to do what I do and use a keyword? And you probably know I use a keyword because I use ManyChat, which is a whole different strategy. If you want to know what that strategy is, just message me the word lazy. But if you want to use ManyChat, if you already use ManyChat, then your call to action should be a keyword. But it doesn't have to be, right? You might not use ManyChat yet. I definitely recommend it if you want to. It's great, really good at handling DM inquiries and keeping people engaged and warm and excited for what's coming next in the conversation. And you can intercept a ManyChat flow at any point, which I very frequently do. So my ManyChat will be, triggering and people will be tapping to get the links to the things that they want to get links to. And then I will come in and be like, hey, this is really me. Thought I would drop in as a real human and see how you're doing. Like, what's the goal that you're working on? How can I help you? And so, yeah, just because I'm using ManyChat doesn't mean I don't speak to people in the DMs. Of course, I speak to people in the DMs. So yeah, get clear on what the call to action is that you want to invite. And if you're not using ManyChat, you might want to use a call to action like DM me the word ready so that people then put ready and then you can go back to them with either a text or a voice note and say, hey, I'm super excited that you saw my post. You said that you're ready to, get this result. Let me ask you a couple of questions to make sure that you're a good fit for the offer that I'm enrolling at the moment. Yeah. So that's your fourth step. And then your fifth step. And this is probably the one that you might find the trickiest, yeah, but I'm here for all your questions. Develop the messaging for the carousel flow to take your audience on a journey of curiosity, of intrigue, of excitement, of resonance, and of activation. Yeah, activation for them to take the next step because that is what you want. What you want is the conversation. Very, very, very rarely will somebody in your audience be at the stage where the minute they see your post, they reach immediately for their credit card. What happens in between is a conversation. Okay. What I always say to the ladies in my programs is remember, people sell programs, not posts. Yeah. Posts don't do all the selling, you do the selling. Okay. So there has to be a conversation. And so many of the coaches that I see online, claiming the really big results, and I know it always looks good, but they don't share with you that middle step. They make it look like the post has made the sale when actually what goes on in the DMs is what's made the sale. Okay. And if you want to know more about, what I was chatting about earlier with the ManyChat and the how to really drive more DM conversations, that is what I call my lazy girl sales strategy. It's an amazing strategy. It's the simplest sales system that you will ever create. And you can get some details on that by just go to my Instagram, put in the word lazy, and my ManyChat will support you by giving you the link so that you can check it out and see if it's for you. Okay. And if you want to have a private chat with me, then you can. So that is everything that I wanted to share with you in the anti-selling messaging training. What I would absolutely love to invite you to do when you try this out for yourself, and I know that you will because you are an action taker, when you try this out for yourself, I would love you to share your wins with me. I would love you to drop into my DMs and say, Rach, I tried the anti-selling and I generated like 5 new DM conversations. I had somebody drop into my DMs who was a perfect fit because she was so activated by the result. Okay. Now, if you don't usually use a keyword, what I will say is, sometimes inviting your audience to share a keyword takes a little bit of training. They need to see you invite that call to action a few times before they start realizing, oh, the way that she wants me to communicate is by just saying this one word. Okay. I know when I first started using the call to action of DM me a keyword, I had a few people reach out and they said things like, "Hi Rach, you said to mention this word, so I'm here. I'm sharing it. Like, what happens next?" And that was what they said to me. Whereas now, because I do it so frequently, people don't add any text. They literally just say the word ready. Okay, so you might need to get your audience educated and trained up on the fact that that is the style of communication that you want in the DMs, and that once they've done that, you will pick up the conversation and take it from there. Okay, so um, don't be alarmed if you've never used keywords before, if like the first time doesn't go exactly according to plan. Just keep doing it. Yeah, just keep doing it. You must be consistent. Every strategy that you try, you must be consistent. Don't abandon it, okay? Because I know this works. I've seen this work time and 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 time again. Okay? So I want you to go try it and I want you to share with me all the juicy wins.